So if you're working with AI, you know the feeling, right? You build a new agent, you test it out, and you get this sense that, yeah, it seems to be doing a pretty good job. But how do you really know? Today, we are ditching the guesswork. We're going to break down exactly how you get from that vague, subjective feeling to a rock-solid, data-driven understanding of how your AI is truly performing.
And that brings us to the big question, the one you absolutely have to ask yourself. Is your AI agent really working? I don't mean, does it feel like it's working? I mean, is it provably, measurably, and reliably effective? That's the challenge we're going to tackle head on. Okay, let's really break this down. Over on the left, you've got that subjective, fuzzy gut feeling. It's an impression. Yeah, I think the agent is working well. And look, that's a starting point, but it is not a strategy. Where we want to live is over here, on the right, with objective data, a concrete, undeniable statement like, the agent is 85% accurate. This is the foundation of any professional evaluation, and it's how you build AI systems you can actually trust.
So how do we get there? How do we make that leap from feeling to fact? Well, the answer lies in a really clear framework built on what we'll call the 3 performance pillars. Think of this as your roadmap to building AI you can genuinely depend on. And here they are: accuracy, consistency, and confidence. It's pretty simple when you break it down. First, is the agent even getting the right answer? Second, can we rely on it? Is it getting that right answer every single time? And third, and this one is key, does the agent have any idea about its own limits? Does it know when it's right, and more importantly, when it might be wrong? We're going to dive deep into each one of these. All right, let's start with the absolute foundation of it all: accuracy. This is the first, and you could argue the most fundamental pillar of AI performance. At its heart, accuracy is super simple. It just answers one question: how often does the agent give the correct answer? Now, to measure this properly, you need what's called a ground truth data set. That's just a fancy way of saying you need a set of questions where you already know the perfect correct answers. This becomes your benchmark, your answer key for grading your agent's performance. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. How do we actually measure correctness? There are a few ways to do it. You could use an exact match, where the answer has to be identical, but honestly, that's often way too strict for generative AI. Keyword match gives you a bit more wiggle room. But for most of the stuff we're building today, semantic similarity is the real game changer. It actually uses another AI to figure out if the meaning of the agent's answer matches your ground truth, even if the wording is totally different. And of course, when things get really complex or nuanced, you can always fall back on good old human evaluation. Ultimately, all these different measurement methods funnel down into one headline metric: your accuracy score. It's a simple formula. You just take the number of times it was right, divide it by the total number of questions you asked, and multiply by 100. This single number becomes your North Star, the key performance indicator you can track to see if the changes you're making are actually improving things. Now, a high accuracy score is a fantastic start, but it's really only part of the story. And that brings us to our second pillar: consistency. Because look, getting the right answer once is great, but if the agent can't do it reliably, you can't really trust it, can you? Consistency is all about whether your agent gives the same answer to the same question over and over again. Just think about it in human terms. If you asked an expert a critical question today and got a different answer to that exact same question tomorrow, you'd stop trusting that expert pretty fast. The exact same logic applies to your AI. Let me show you what I mean with a quick example. Let's say we ask our AI agent a straightforward question that it should know the answer to. What is our Q4 revenue goal? The first time, it comes back with a perfect, clean answer. Our revenue goal for Q4 is to achieve $2.5 million in new bookings. Awesome. Looks good, right? But what if we ask the exact same question again later, and this time it says, for the fourth quarter, the target is to secure 2.5 M in fresh client contracts. Now, the meaning is the same, sure, but that subtle change in phrasing, that can be a red flag for instability. For mission-critical data, you need rock-solid consistency, and this is precisely why testing the same questions multiple times is so important. This brings us to our third and, honestly, most sophisticated pillar: confidence. This is about building an agent that doesn't just spit out answers, but also has some degree of self-awareness about what it can and can't do. The confidence score is basically a measure of how sure the agent is about its own answer. Most AI systems can actually provide this score right alongside their response. This lets us move beyond a simple right or wrong analysis and start asking much, much deeper questions about our agent's behavior. For instance, we can finally ask this incredibly powerful question: When your agent gets something wrong, does it know it's wrong? You see, an agent that gives an incorrect answer but has a low confidence score, that's actually demonstrating a very useful form of self-awareness. It's basically telling you, hey, here's my best guess, but I am really not sure about this one. Which leads us to this critical takeaway. An agent that is confidently wrong is a dangerous agent. Just think about that for a second. This is the absolute riskiest scenario. An agent that just makes something up, a hallucination, but presents it with 100% confidence, that's the one that's going to mislead your users and cause huge problems. An agent that knows its own limitations is a far more reliable partner.
So we've got our 3 pillars: accuracy, consistency, and confidence. Now let's bring it all together into a practical tool you can use every day to monitor and improve your system: the evaluation dashboard. Think of your dashboard as your mission control for AI performance. Yeah, it should track your overall accuracy over time, but it should also let you slice and dice that data, break down accuracy by different types of questions or intents. And here's the killer feature. It should compare the average confidence scores for correct answers versus incorrect answers. That's how you spot the dangerous, confidently wrong behavior. And finally, it should just give you a list of its most common mistakes, so you know exactly where to focus your energy. So let's bring it all home. Accuracy tells you if it's right. Consistency tells you if it's reliable. And confidence tells you if it's self-aware. By systematically measuring and tracking these 3 essential pillars, you can finally build a data-driven culture of continuous improvement for your AI. Which brings us right back to where we started. Your AI has an answer, but the real question, the only question that matters, is can you trust it? With this framework, you finally have the tools to answer that question not with a feeling, but with data.